السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. The last verse we studied last week, the verse was entitled the Fajr. Fajr. So we said this word is important. In a simple way, Fajr means, in a simple way, I mean, we are all trying to understand at a simple level, of course. Fajr means use your intellect properly. Yes? Use your intellect properly. Or as it's translated here, for those who understand, but make the distinction between right or wrong, Fajr. Right? Be careful about right and wrong. Okay? Now, if you don't do that, if you are not careful about right and wrong, and you don't understand or don't use your intellect properly, it means your human abilities are not really in function. What happens? That is, these examples that we are going to study today are the results of what the people are not really using their intellect properly.
Answer my question. So you're saying you keep using intellect as a, I guess, as a tool to use to understand. Is it okay to assume that we're leaving out the emotional side of things, like the, I guess, the desire?
The intellect chooses its direction. The emotional side will join or reject or support. It's the result of using your intellect, because if you don't understand a topic, if you don't understand the topic, how can you read it if you are not aware of it? Intellect means, in this case, your human consciousness. If you are not aware of your human, if you don't use your human consciousness, the emotional side of me would not be aware of it. First, we have to realize about something, and then emotions start getting involved in this result, either take over it or overcome it, whatever. Yeah, or really, you have to use your free will, how to direct your intellect here and there. So emotions will support it or reject it. Then again, you have to use your free will to let your emotions take over the intellect, the conclusion of the intellect. It is in our hand. We have to be very careful not to leave everything without being conscious of it. Something like saying that I don't mind whatever happens. I don't know what it is. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really care. And just follow your emotions. What happens? Well, I think the result will be complete disaster. Your emotions have no boundary. Who's going to put the boundary, and also who is going to, or what is going to direct your emotions towards it, to an aim. Ultimately, at the end, it is you with your free will to control the result of your intellect, to employment of your intellect, to employment of your conscience, the employment of your conscience, and then accordingly you will really handle your life. Sometimes it may be easy to say that when you use your intellect, you will get the best result. No, it is not necessarily. When you use the intellect, you reach an end. Yeah, you say, this is true, but be frank with ourselves. Can we do everything that we intellectually understand right? I don't. Maybe Maha does, but I don't think so. So I don't. It means intellect is the engine. Intellect is the motor. Taking care, but the driver's steering wheel is in the hands of your free will. For example, the speed is again in the hands of your free will. Let's say you are driving a car, so you have to use it, but at the same time, the car, we are driving a car now in the example, the car doesn't have only one function, which is 4 wheels and engine, and the driver's, steering wheel. No, the car has other accelerators, pedal, yeah, and brake, and you have to use accordingly. For example, your intellect may say, this is right, but at the same time, your consciousness say, this is, for example, making money in an illegal way. This is intellect is working for one side of human beings. The other side of human beings will say, what? Making money, yes, is good, but to make it in the illegal way is not good. What you have to do now, use your other side of consciousness, saying that I cannot contradict my human nature, which is not that simple, really. Human beings are so complicated. We have to watch out always. We cannot leave our emotions, our intellect, our, and also our free will, whatever my heart takes me, I go there. No, it doesn't work in this way. How do you know that the heart is going to take you to the right direction? How do you know that the heart is not under the influence of external factors? So still, you have to reconsider it, think about it, and is it really right? Because while you are using our free will, we employ our intellect, but at the same time, human consciousness is the larger umbrella than intellect. We shouldn't forget that. Human consciousness, which is called in the language of the Quran, heart. So the area, the field the domain of heart is larger. But what is important, we are going out of our subject. What is important, although the domain of heart is larger, but it cannot, the heart cannot operate independently, necessarily on the right way. We have to use our intellect, we have to use our consciousness, but the area, the field is larger because emotions take us away, and you cannot be sure whether this the way that emotions direct us or take us is right or wrong. What are we going to do? What is the criterion? Hijr, the previous verse we studied. You use your hijr, your distinguishing ability, the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. What is that? Your consciousness, and consulted first intellectual involvement to have a consultation with your consciousness. Is it really right or wrong? Because every aspect of human being is open to external influences. So again, bring your consciousness. If you think that this seems to be right, oh no, my heart is happy about it, comfortable about it, but you have to use your intellect whether this feeling, this tendency is really the right tendency or wrong tendency. Who's going to do it? Your intellect will analyze it and take it to some human feelings work so in a complicated way, but in harmony in a so perfect way. So then you have to come back what your intellect says and have a consultation with your consciousness. But intellect will check this emotional tendency is influenced by external factors or your real self. You can only discover this by consciously questioning it. We know that in the driver's seat. Who's sitting in the driver's seat? Human free will. Yeah, car is there. All the functions of the car are there, but human free will direct which direction I'm going to use it. Accordingly, they will employ. For example, if you decide to run the car fast, what do? Now, if you prefer, your free will say, okay, press on the gas pedal. Yeah, if you want to stop, you say press on the brake. Okay. These are, I mean, in 1 hour or two, I think we cannot solve how human beings work with their emotions and intellect, the reasoning, free will, and what is innate to us, what is external to us is a very important question. You have to always question yourself. We have to question yourself. I have this tendency, I have this criterion that this is right, this is wrong, right? And you have to again reconsider over it and question, where did I get this idea? Is it really consistent with what? not I mean, two extremes. It is consistent to my production of my mind. It is consistent, this is one extreme. It is consistent with if I have a religious affiliation, but my religious source. That's what people think, that when you do whatever the Quran says, especially the Muslims or the Jews or the Christians say, when I do whatever the Torah says, I'm safe. No. Why? Why not? Who will answer this question? That's my answer, no. Why? An answer? Okay.
And if you don't have conscious of what you're doing, first of all, it's like value.
Sorry?
Just doing without being conscious of what you're doing doesn't give much value to following like your do's and don'ts.
It is on the way to the right answer, as far as I understand. It doesn't guarantee anything. As far as I understand, is it the right way? You have to be aware, conscious of what you say is the desire of God, if you believe, yeah? Or what you say is that if you don't believe in God, that's all right. If you don't believe in God, what you say, it is the desire of my humanity. They describe the human feelings, but at the end, that desire is the result, or maybe the result of your interpretation according to your expectations. That's a very fine point. You read the Quran and understand what? Everybody reads the Quran and understands what? What they expect from it. Right? That's your personal interpretation. So, Quran says so, we always say this, eh? Never say, Quran says so. Okay, now you can answer the question. What are we expected to say then? When I read a verse, what are we expected to say? My understanding from this sentence. My understanding. So, your conscious, sorry?
Especially if it's dynamic text. Even more so since the Quran is supposed to be dynamic and not...
Dynamic, universal. You cannot have a universal understanding at all. That any understanding belongs to a person who must necessarily be restricted with his conditions, life conditions. Be aware of it. So the second step comes when you read the sacred source. You say, this source says this. That's your conclusion. The second step is, okay, I will follow it. Wrong. You have to say, that's my interpretation. Sure. That's no doubt. That's human capacity. You cannot be universal. That's why human capacity. Is my interpretation, understanding, influenced by an external factor? So the consciousness comes in the process. Consciousness, you have to go back to your consciousness. Right? So those people who say that we follow human feelings, your human feelings, your inner self, whatever they mean, will tell you what to do, what not to do. Right? So, how do you know that your inner feelings are under the influence of external factors or your reality, your real conscience? Now, do I change the word? How will you know? You have to be aware that it's a possibility. You hear the voice from yourself may be the result of the influence of the external factors. But awareness is important. At the end of every process, who can be absolutely sure his last decision is right? After going all these processes, following rightly what is supposed to be done, who can be?
The one who's like all these qualities, like intellect, desire, like feelings, everything is in harmony with one another. That person would be the most certain in feeling that, or feeling confident.
No, absolutely. I'm sure that what I'm doing is right. My choice is right, absolutely right, no question. Nobody except the Creator, with no exception. With no exception. As even the prophets, everybody comes up with it, that the prophet says, well, no. Prophets say, if I am informed, I know. If I am not informed, I don't know. I'm like you. No exception. So, what are we going to do? Now, what you said, who knows what? No, not you said. Only your Creator knows it. What are you expected to know at this stage now, at the last result? What are you going to do? Oh, my Creator, I do not know. You know. Guide me. I just submit myself to you and now expecting your help. That's what we keep praying. Help me, help me, help me. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم إياك نستعين إياك نستعين. You understand? إياك نستعين. We seek help from only you. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Why? But without going through these processes, saying that, please God, guide me. For example, you are a simple example, farmer, and you have nuts. You are going to plant, it's very famous, is corn. Every farmer expert on it. But simple example, corn. You never study, you never listen to others' experiences, you never share them, and then please God guide me to make the best product of my farming. What happens? God says, are you cheating me? I gave you some abilities, you have to use it. At the last result, you have to come to me. That is what I know, as far as I know, the result of my experience, but I cannot guarantee that it's right. There's no way to guarantee that it's right. So that's why I seek refuge with you. What does it mean, I seek refuge with you? A'udhu billah. The last source is you, no one else. Okay. That's why the Quran describes itself as a guide. So we have to listen to it, but I'm going back to the beginning of the processes now. We have to listen to it, try to get benefit from it, but again, look at, I went back. Be aware that this is my interpretation. And my interpretation cannot be the ultimate truth, maybe under the influence of other factors, mostly the external factors. So the external factors, I may be under the influence of external factors. In order to check, I have to go back to my conscience, if you like, unadulterated human nature. So be careful whether I really polluted it or not. But how can I make sure? I only make sure this much. might have polluted my understanding of myself, my own self. So you cannot be sure if you are a pure humanist. You cannot be sure whether what you are doing is right or wrong at all. And you cannot be sure, the two extremes I'm talking about. So we have to find a middle way. You cannot be sure if you are blindly following the sacred text. But whatever it says, I'm following it and I'm right. No, it doesn't guarantee anything at all. Did you get it? The summary? What we can do, not now, it's not our subject now. We can work on it more because I'm becoming aware of the importance of this human process. Because all of us are under stress, problems, all of them. No one is absolutely comfortable, relaxed, having a serene life, serenity in our life. Okay, everything is fine. I'm doing what is expected of me perfectly. No one can do that. But it doesn't mean that we cannot get the ultimate aim. We should do nothing. No, we should work for the perfection. There is no ultimate aim that the human beings can ever reach. No, we can't. We will always have some shortcomings, some defects. That's all right. But be aware of that we are likely to have something wrong in our life. Be comfortable about it. What is important, the Quran keeps telling us, reminding us, yeah, I understand you. I created you. He speaks to us, our Creator, with two possibilities always, and you will be really weaving between right and wrong, right and wrong, right and wrong, and also swerving here and there. To be on the straight path is very difficult for you. I know this, but don't worry. Try to be on the right path, but when you realize that you failed to keep the right path, or there's a big possibility that you may really distort your direction and go into right direction, sort of wrong direction. When you realize that it is wrong, what? Return to me. Say, oh, it was wrong. What do? You drive, you say that I know how to get somewhere. Let's now speak about Indiana. So I know how to get Indiana. I will drive. Suddenly I realized that you find yourself in a strange way. It's not familiar at all. Before I used to go here, but I haven't seen this environment. What you do in your worldly life? Do you think that, okay, I am here, shall I continue? Or what do you do?
Change your direction to where you need to go.
Yeah, go back and try to find out the right way. And is it something wrong to go back? Not at all. This is perfection for a driver. If someone says, I realized that I took a wrong exit. Okay, what did you do? Oh, I looked for the first possibility to get back and try to get to take the right exit. They will say, excellent. What do you think? Although I did something wrong, yeah, you made a mistake, but they will say, excellent. Turning back. In the language of the Quran is tawbah. Yes, turn back. In fact, I will tell you something that's my impression. to be on the right way, right track. When you compare being on the right track with doing something wrong and turning back, which one is better? I think for human beings, turning back from your mistakes is more perfect for you. Because really, it is hard to accept one's mistakes. Ego doesn't let you. Now we are studying human analysis, man. Today, nothing to do with the verse. I mean, it's okay. I don't think it is a waste of time. It is always more human to accept that. It is always more difficult to admit, to confess our mistakes. We are always defensive about ourselves. If you say something to somebody, the first thing, what do they? Shrink back and take a defensive position, get a shield in front of them, and start producing excuses, reasoning to justify themselves, rather than calmly. This person told me that I was wrong. Is it possible? Let me check. It is very difficult. First thing what we do, defensive position. That is why it makes it difficult to admit, to confess one's mistake. In worldly affairs, as far as the money making, if a businessman or a person is running, let's say, a store, and if he realizes that he is selling this and is not making really profit, but losing, or he definitely goes back, There is no need for him to get any advice from anybody. Since you are losing by doing this trade or this sort of job, why do you keep going? You don't need any advice, but when it comes to our real self, spirit side, soul side, then it is involved with our ego. Because I say we should stop this point, but it's important things. Why? Because when you do something wrong and try to defend it, ego, but in the language of the Quran, Satan. Quran externalizes ego. Yeah, the bad side of human being is in the Quranic language is external, not internal. Human beings are perfect, mukarram, but the Satan, external. Gives waswasa, gives whisperings. That's why you swerve in your straight path. No. In your nature, we are perfect. Don't worry. That's a Quranic attitude. Do we know that? You cannot say that God created me with evil. No. All evil things come from what? Satan, which is in the Quranic description of the event is Satan, represented by devil. The Iblis or devil, whatever. Adam was perfect, but the evil did whatever it did. It is something else. It means that in every case, even you make mistake, God says you are mukarram. Yeah? God says you are a perfect creature. But because of this man, you are misled by the whisperings of this one. So keep it external. That's very important. We are studying psychology today. It's very important. Look, if you see that you have some sort of vicious feelings about anything, vicious feeling, bad feelings about anything, when you really start the process that we studied briefly, very briefly, Use your free will, intellect, and conscience, as the, yeah, and your consciousness and conscience. Yeah, there are, consciousness is in Arabic sure. Conscience is qalb or jidan, right? Okay, they are completely different. Not completely, but essentially different entities. Okay. The Satan's whispering, if you deliberately use your free will, is it real to my reality, to my conscience, or is it the effect, the result of the influence of devil out there? So if you say that I am always following devil, don't be disappointed. Why? Because you are perfect in your creation. وَكَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Every Adam, not Muslims, not believers. Every man is perfect in its creation, in the combinations of all the elements that we have been talking about, not the material side, human side. All the elements are perfect for everyone. Even Pharaoh had this perfect consciousness in itself. But he didn't use it. Something else. He always listened to the external factor. And he didn't really use his free will but to question himself whether he's doing right or wrong. Yeah, he's doing right or wrong. You understand? He said, I am the most powerful one. We will see the example. Yeah, we will see the example here. Different examples are listed here. I am the most powerful one, and yeah, not here, it is here. 10. And the power of a powerful Pharaoh. Yeah? So it is the example of, so I want to keep my power. Is it right? You have to question that. Right? But in its creation, man is perfect. Human beings are perfect. Why? If there was any defect in my creation, because of this defect, as they call it, sin, original sin, it is in my creation. And I followed what is in my creation is not my fault. Do you understand that? And on the day of judgment, let's say, it is some sort of figurative telling what our reality is, how we should understand this. But on the day of judgment day, God asks you, I don't know, this is a rhetoric thing, God asks you, why did you do this? You say, it was in my evil side. You created it with me. But I decided. You see what I mean? How can I accuse this man? So this original sin, all the evil thing that we call it evil side is external. It must be so. Do you understand that? So God establishes, be careful with this language, God establishes an inner satisfaction, security, to trust your creation. Watch out, external factors that you may take it in, you may reject. You are free. Do you understand? Now, when you realize that you are really occupied with the whisperings of this external devil, 99, maybe 100% of your, let's say, I might speak on my behalf, I am a pharaoh now, right? 100% is example of the 100% bad man. right? Pharaoh. When I realized that I think I am doing something wrong, right? Because when I start questioning myself, go back to the previous processes of the internal dynamic of controlling yourself. Yeah, go back there. So when I intend, use my free will, do I, is it right what I am doing? And then you realize that I am totally obsessed by the whisperings of devil external to me. But be careful, devil external to me. I don't have to follow it. Trust yourself. I don't have to not trust your ego, your creation. Find out the perfection in your creation. That's why you have to analyze every problem within yourself using different elements ingrained in thought in your being. Use your everything, every human quality we are talking about. Use it and say that, it wasn't in my existence to be an evil person. The evil is external. I don't have to listen and follow this external evil. It must keep every time external, whether you are aware of its existence and don't follow his whisperings, but by questioning whether am I under the influence of the whisperings of this external factor, or is it really the true of me? When you said, oh yeah, I'm not following it, after doing all the processes, you made sure that I'm not following the evil. Okay, as far as I know, no one can guarantee absolutely, we said. So as far as I know, I am not really following the evil. Okay, keep it out. When you realize that you are obsessed under the or occupied, completely occupied by the influence of the external evil, keep it. It is a part of me. No. Now I say that it's a part of me. And what people say that I cannot do that. You hear the people say, but I know it is right. For example, it's an addiction example, a drug addiction. I cannot stop. I said, never. You can. This is the external factor is influencing you. You can't stop. Trust yourself, you will stop. But if you say it is a part of me, I cannot stop. I cannot quit smoking or drug or anything bad habit. I cannot keep myself away from gambling. Something, this gambling obsessed people. They keep going. But at the same time, they say, no, I know it is bad, but I cannot stop. What does it mean? What does it mean? I am bad in my creation. It means this man is wrong and totally lost. That is why the Prophet advises, never mention the negative things. Don't talk about them. Forget about them. Okay, it happened, finish. Don't go back. Yeah. Don't say that, this is the job. I know, intellect tells you. I know I must do this, but I cannot do it. I know I must do it. I'm not saying I can do it. No. I must do it. Intellect says, yes, you must do it. It's necessary. Or doing something wrong, stop. Whatever, okay. But I cannot stop, or I cannot do it. What? In your creation, something is wrong? No, you are perfect. If you are not perfect, that is not your responsibility. Do you think I understand? That would be not your responsibility. It will be the responsibility of the one who created you with this defect. If the machine doesn't work properly, can you blame the machine? For example, let's say one function of the machine is not properly done. And when you do that, it doesn't work. Do you blame the machine or continue?
Blame the maker of the machine.
Maker of the machine. That's why when the Quran says, you are, we made you mukarram. Learn this word if you don't know it. Keep reminding this. Even you can make a frame, put on the wall to remind you. It means in my creation, I am made perfect. Trust yourself. Anything that gets on your way, external. Keep Satan, keep evil, devil outside. In both cases. Is it easy? What we do, we externalize it. What happens? When you externalize it, you justify. I cannot quit smoking.
Internalize.
Sorry?
Externalize it or internalize it?
What did you say? What did I say?
So you externalize it.
I might have confused with the language. If the evil side is internalized, then you say, I cannot quit smoking. Why? I can't. The Prophet says, never mention negative. It's beautiful. I can. Just only because I'm not really consistent in following my human abilities, qualities given to me, and practicing them. Well, so get on the driver's seat and use the steering wheel according to your nature, the way you are created. You understand that you cannot be perfect, so you need guidance. And also, guidance, perfection comes from where? Now, the perfection comes from two ways. Be careful here. Okay, today's class is about human analysis. So, the perfection comes from two ways. And ultimately, these two ways come from one source. Now, two ways is, in your creation, you are created perfectly. Right? For example, here is the machine working perfectly because machines don't have free will. Yeah, but what we have. Machines don't have consciousness, but we have. That's why the machine example is, or the machine metaphor is limited. Now, if the machine had consciousness, it will say, I am made perfectly. So I'm expected to work perfectly. Okay? Okay. Only some external factor comes and breaks it, spoils it, then the machine cannot work. But this factor is external. So that's one thing. In your creation, you are perfect. So follow your creation, but bonus is next to it. What is bonus? The maker of the machine gives an instruction next to it, teaches you how it should work. in the best way. As a user, now the metaphor changed. As a user of the machine, what are you expected to do? To utilize two factors at the same time. One is how the machine works. The other one is how the manufacturer's manual teaches you how to use it. Combine it. That's why human beings need guidance, which is completely compatible with the nature of the machine, the human nature. 100% compatible. If any factor, let's say a nasty child and came and broke your screen, does the screen show after it is broken because it is made perfect? But after it is broken, does it function perfectly? No, it is broken by outside factor. And anything apart from your real nature and the guidance from the maker of you, anything apart from these two sources, any external factor will cause you to spoil your machine working perfectly. I think it is clear. So if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel something is now really putting you under stress, even, let's put it, your sins, it means you deviated from the right path, right? And I feel very uncomfortable about it. What did we say before? Turning back from the wrong option makes you even more perfect. It is difficult to turn back, to admit our mistakes. When you admit it, I really, there is an hadith, but some people dispute about the authenticity of this hadith. Doesn't matter, but the meaning is correct. Hadith says, if you don't do anything wrong and turn to me and ask for forgiveness, have you heard of this hadith? I will destroy you and bring another people. And they will do something wrong and turn back. Because this position is more perfect than doing no mistake and asking no for forgiveness. It makes you, on the other extreme, another Pharaoh. I am the perfect one. This time is a religious perfection, or religious Pharaohness. Do you understand that? It's beautiful. Because they think that this kind of hadiths encourage people to do wrong, to sin, according to their understanding, encourages people. So the Prophet cannot encourage people to do something wrong and come back to repent. It cannot be hadith. According to their understanding, narrow, shallow understanding, this hadith is as if encouraging people to do wrong. No, it is the most perfect way of encouraging people to turn back to God. It is more difficult than doing right. Which one is difficult? Which one is more difficult? For example, you did 5 times a day prayer today, perfect. You felt, I performed everything perfect. Okay, I can sleep comfortably now. Okay, this one, always the examples must be on the extreme poles. Yeah, the best, the worst. So you are in between. So you can apply to your, so perfect, I did something, go on and sleep. The other one didn't pray at all, but came home. I said, I have received lots of grace. I never thanked for them. Isn't that right? Is it really wrong? Your conscience will tell you this. You did something wrong. You have to be thankful. You have to be grateful for the grace you receive. That conscience tells you. You don't have to learn it from your father or mother. So you say, oh God, please forgive me. Cry. Which one is better? First or second?
You made it seem like the second is better, but are we taking into consideration that the first one is ignoring or not reflecting of the things that they're thankful for?
No. How do we know that? We set a perfect example, saying that that's my job. I have to do it. I did it. That's it. I've done my job.
Okay.
So
And the second
let's leave the result to God and go to bed comfortably. Extreme example. Yeah. The other one is another extreme example. Never remembered God all the day, and when he came home and said, "Oh no, what I've done today." The conscious reminds you that we said in the creation, human beings are perfect. Something will come and say, you did something wrong. From inside. Now it is inside, not external. So this man cries, the other one sleeps comfortably. Which one, according to your conscience again now, which one is better?
The second.
Second, yeah. You see, that is what God, the Creator, gave us this sense in order to understand which is right. So it doesn't mean that we should sin and come back. It's obvious. That's obvious. But it tells us, the hadith tells us that don't lose trust in yourself. Right? It doesn't mean, they call it ego, but in the Quranic language, always what? Iblis does, Satan does. Yeah, I seek refuge from the the whisperings of Satan. The Quran doesn't say, I seek refuge from some things in my spirit, in my soul. Soul is perfect. Soul is perfect. But as the simple example, the scholars, usually the people, this considered people give example of a mirror. Blank, tableau blanche, blank. Yeah? The human nature is blank, white sheet. What we do by putting the I don't know how to say speckles? No. Pickle, the small things. What? Speckle or pickle or no, not pickle, not speckle. Specks. One by one, we dirtied it. But it is, the specks on the screen of the mirror is external. It's not a part of the plant. What you can do? It goes again, external. Right? Don't worry. Just only trust yourself. You will understand that. You will understand this is external and you need to clean it, get it, clean it. It is repentance in the language of the Quran. You want to talk?
It was distressed. I was wondering why we were created with the potential for addiction. Why did the Creator make us in
Potential for addiction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why were we
Go to the Ford and GM company and say, why did you make a car with the steering wheel? Huh? They will say, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? You are a human being. If there was no steering wheel, for example, have you ever noticed the drivers of the subway, the cars, train? What do?
You look outside.
They sit like this. I watched of them. They sit like this. Is it human? Do you see what I mean? But when you are driving like this, you are developing your abilities. This person who drives who is the driver of the train in the subway for 30 years, and it goes out and tries to drive the car, what does it do? Definitely bumps into a shop or the window or into a people. 30 years of experience without free will is nothing. Waste of time, humanity. So humanity needs to watch out while we are, every time I do this way right, this way wrong, keep this way, you're on the right path, the right road. That makes you improve your ability to develop your capacity to drive your life. So that's why you make development, you make improvement in your life. That's why we go to class, and every time, for example, you go to class and the professor teaches you, right? And you say to the professor, I come to the class, well, there is a possibility that I may listen to you, I may not listen to you. So this both ways are with me. So I choose not to listen to you, and I didn't learn. Why do you fail me? What does the professor say? Yeah, you should choose the other way and learn. Now, we keep talking about the essential two sides of human beings. One is potentiality, the other one is capacity. Now, potentiality is perfect. Capacity needs what? Free will, training, using, going to school, learning, then you develop your profession according to your subject. You understand this? This makes you professional. This makes the person different from the others. Otherwise, potentially, as the Quran says, potentially every creature is perfectly exalting God. Understand? Which is the language of the Quran is sabbaha or tasbih. Yusabbih, whatever, the form of sabbaha, right? And potentially, every creature is doing its job perfectly. Their job is represented by angels. That's why angels don't fail. What makes human beings in the allegory of the teachings of the Quran, what makes human beings is possibility of using it or not using it. By using it, you progress, but not using it, you digress. Not progress. Go back. Now, that's why human beings are subject to either paradise or the hell. Now, in your daily life as well, when it comes to worldly affairs, we can understand this kind of things perfectly. For example, if you are an engineer, let's say you are a programmer, computer programmer. If you don't practice it, what happens? If you are a musician, and let's say you are playing guitar or I don't know, drum or something, whatever the instruments you are doing. So the more you practice it, the perfect musician you become. If you don't practice it, it goes bad. So we have no option to be static. We have to always actively involved into the practical side of life and struggle, but one side is you, the other side is external to you. So it is easy for you to say external side, but it's not within me. It's not me. It is external. I am not going to listen to you. So the Quran's language is very sensitive. وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له. فاستمعوا comes from سمع. سمع is hearing. استمع is carefully listening, especially استمع له. When it is used with the li, it becomes carefully paying attention to something. Now, Quran requires us not only hearing and a beautiful voice. Yeah, an Egyptian Hafiz recites the Quran with a beautiful voice and an exciting melody. You just hear it. You enjoy it. Most of the time people listen to music, don't really pay attention to the lyric. It's just music, so that's it. So we may do the same thing to the Quran. It is not istama'a, it is sami'a. What the Quran doesn't say sami'a, Quran says istami'a. Fastami'u lih. It is important paying attention to what is said to you. It needs what? Intention, decision. It needs decision. You have to be decisive, saying that, look, I have to listen out. Yeah? So listen to yourself. It means consciously use your human abilities by questioning that. Look, you have free will, I have intellect, I have emotions, I have consciousness, I have conscience within me. These are the main elements in our human side. So, have I used them properly? Am I using them in the right way? Am I? You can question it because the free will is given to you. It means listen out. They say heed your nature. And also prospectus, the manufacturer's handbook, listen to it carefully. If you read it and don't pay attention what it's saying, it doesn't work. What you have to say, it is saying this, push this button if you want to go into this page. What you have to say, stop. Pay attention. And come, try, see if it working, if it is working within yourself. So when you read the Quran, come back to yourself. Is it really true that I can confirm it? Now, if you follow this, really you can train yourself in the best way. But don't be carried away with your prejudices developed before by saying that, no, well, I can obey God, but hidden inside you, but with this condition. No, it doesn't work. With this condition, but I cannot do that. For example, I can pray. Example. I can pray. Okay, I can fast. Okay, it's very easy and very good for your health as well. It's very encouraging. So it's easy. So fasting is not eating is very easy, but fasting is very difficult. Anyway, I I can fast, okay, but I cannot stop smoking. Example. I cannot smoke. What happens? You restrict yourself. That I cannot do. It means it is innate with me. But what it turns to be at the end, accusation of your creator. And he didn't do a good job. It means he created me with a something defect. That's why this horrible understanding which invades the Christendom. I'm not criticizing about Christianity or something. This human beings cannot make sense of original sins, but keep defending it in order to justify the position of Jesus. This is a justification that we are wrong within our creation. So we cannot correct ourselves. Solution? Savior, Jesus. Trust him, he will purify you. And again, the solution is external. Do you notice that? Evil is external, solution is external. You carry on your life as you like. So everybody loves it. That's why Christianity is very easy. The majority of the people follow Christian tradition. It's easy, no responsibility. Yeah? Like driving to train. But Islam keeps saying, no, none of them is correct. No, there is no defect in your creation, and you cannot be saved by external factors. Only you yourself personally have to work on yourself. No one can save you. Some people take some sort of easy way saying that, I accept somebody to guide me. Whatever he says, I will do it. It's like a kind of practical Christianity. Assigning somebody to tell you what to do, what not to do, and you don't bother about anything. Right? Man, you diverted the subject. I didn't. It is your fault.
Don't externalize it.
No. Yeah. Good. That, inshallah, this class has fulfilled its purpose. Do not externalize it. You see? Alhamdulillah, the class is understood. Although it is not related, but we can very briefly, fast, go to these verses, because these verses that we are supposed to study today, this page, are just different examples of the people who deviated from their path just because they didn't use their, now that we should know the word now, hijr, distinguishing quality from right and wrong. Right. And they followed external factors. One is, come on, you read the Arabic origin. Yeah? Yeah, somebody English quick, because we have 6 minutes only. Yeah.
Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Ad?
No, what Ad did. Oh, no, what did they do? So that God has treated them. It means when God treats somebody, you will have the complete destruction. Yeah? Yeah, now it comes that. Yeah.
The city of towers and lofty mansions.
No, they made big, lofty mansions with the castles in order to make sure that they are comfortably living in this world. Their life is guaranteed, but they are destroyed. Why? They trusted their own wealth, right? Their own, I don't know, properties, houses. But we never mention, that is our principle. We never mention who are these people of art, and also Iran, or we never mention that. We never talk about it. talk about your art, talk about your Iran. This two of towers, then we make towers in order to impress people or whatever we do. As long as it is nothing to do with the creator attributing any values we have to the creator, we are doomed. That's inevitable. Even you may not do it in the extreme way. Let's say 10%, really, you will have no happiness in your life, at least that 10%. God doesn't leave you alone. Your creator doesn't leave you alone. It is good, isn't it? Keeps reminding you. These are historical narrations, historical examples, but we have to refer it to ourselves. So carry on. Yeah, it means
The like of which was not created in the lands.
yeah. Our economy is the best. Our army is the most powerful. Right? What happens? Yes, they have the best economy. With the best economy, what they do? Best corruption. Corrupt themselves. So, best army, what do? What they do? They kill people. Sorry?
Colonize.
Yeah, colonize. Kill people. And say that, I'm powerful, I can do that. You understand? Yeah. So, you may be the best. It doesn't mean anything as far as your external gainings, power, property, whatever. When it comes to Pharaoh, we will say status in the society, whatever. You may be the most famous man in the world. If you attribute it to yourself, you are doomed. That's what these are again, the Quran also speaks in extreme terms. Do you know that? All the Quran's examples are what? Showing two external poles. Extreme poles. Paradise, hell. Belief, unbelief. Yeah? Satan, angel. Human beings in creation perfect, but it is open to both ways. That always extreme case. So if you want to tell somebody or speak somebody to yourself or to somebody else, never give an example in the middle. It cannot make the distinction. That's the character of the Quran. The Quran describes himself with this quality. Furqan makes right and wrong completely obviously different from each other. This is absolutely right. This is absolutely wrong. So give examples always with extreme cases. In between, it's confusing. It doesn't work. So these are the extreme examples. Like those people, apparently, the way the Quran talks about them, they have all gone or sent to hell. Right? Extreme case. Okay, when there is something exceptions, except a few. Okay. Again, another metaphor is going on here.
And with Thamud, who hewed the rocks in the valley into houses.
So because something happened before, historically something happened, the wind came, or I don't know, storm or something came, the sand covered them up. Okay, what we will do, we won't make buildings open to destruction. We will hew the rocks and into the mountain. So any wind and anything the wind cannot really destroy in the eye of the people, as far as our experience tells us, the mountains. So what they did, this is historical narration, but we can say, okay, for example, I insured my job. Doesn't matter whatever happens, insurance company pays. Yeah? It means you heard a mention in the rocks. You think, what happened? They are destroyed. Completely destroyed. It means apart from seeking refuge with your creator, doing your job properly, whatever the external factors you rely on is to be destroyed. Never, ever trust them. Right? Let's come to some. Yeah. This is a powerful phrase. It means this Evtad, owner of stakes, are interpreted in many ways in the classical tafsir commentaries of the Quran. I don't know. It shows that he had a tent with lots of the pillars. And it demonstrates that he was powerful and taking the people under his control, or it's a symbol of power. No. And it is also destroyed. Yeah. These people are? Yeah.
All these transgress beyond bounds in the lands.
Yeah. Taghaw means really transgress or rebel. Yeah. Beyond bounds in the land, it means really limitless rebel. For example, let's say, okay, we say we don't talk about politics, but let's say a country A has a limit, isn't it? Doesn't it? Has a limit, boundaries. Now, what can do? They use the administrative body within the boundary. Yeah, if they have a strong army and ego, what happens? You said one word: colonize others, because they rely on their power. So you don't only, for example, let's say I'm very greedy, I want to be rich. So gain money. Can I make money in order to be rich? Not as a result of my labor, in order to be rich. When you are rich at the expense of what? Exploiting other people's labor, innocence, yeah, or financially they have no other option. They have to work in a factory from the early morning until late evening and get only a little bit for their livelihood. And you are in America rich. You told me something. They sell the clothing 7 times, multiplied by 7 the production cost of the production. You understand? The cost of the production, in fact, is $1. You go and buy it $7. So what they say, sale. Sale. What? $7 became $5. Get 1, get 2, 1 is free. It means $3.50. Still 350% profit. This is the principle of this. That's why it's very important. الذين طغوا في البلاد. Not only within themselves. For example, a greedy man definitely destroys his humanity, but it is not limited by destroying himself. he transgresses the right of others. So don't say this Pharaoh lived and did all these stupid things. No, 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 it is something to do with you and me right now. You understand our sensitivity not to read the Quran in historical context? It is completely wrong. It would be completely wrong. It is something to do with me, and it is going with me now by exploiting others, making money, not as a result of my labor. And it destroys me because of the greed, destroys yourself. It never satisfies. You can never satisfy your greed, human greed. What you have to do, you have to get more and more, still not satisfied until you go to, as the Quran says, حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ. Until you die, you never finish adding and adding, a little more, a little more. That is what destroys you first. The second is, sorry? Of course, you do it at the expense of others. Okay. So, carry on. So, فَأَكْثَرُوا فِيهَا الْفَسَادِ, yeah, increase more and more. More powerful, more war. We have to understand that. More, the stronger the weapons you have, you take the attitude to attack on more people. Yeah? Stronger the you exploit other people, you harm more people. It's not that simple thing. They say that it is illegal. Yeah, you legalize it. Okay. Okay, but that's it. Yeah.
And therefore your Lord let loose upon them
Yeah.
the scourge of suffering.
Yeah. So that's why these people will suffer. They will never have a comfortable, relaxed, satisfied life in this world. But in the hereafter, the next creation is extension of this life anyways. So don't worry, don't bother about what will happen to me in the next world. Watch about what is happening to you in this world. Okay, the last verse that we are, it's all the subject will change now as an extension of this. Okay? Nah, yeah.
Surely your Lord is always watchful.
Do you think your Creator is not aware of what you are doing? How you are spoiling your human nature? How you are using yourself in the wrong way? That's why He is the last judge. The Creator, He knows who you are, what you are doing. So don't forget that whatever I have done in this world, okay, it is gone. Forget about it. It's finished. No. Everything is under the control of your Creator, because while you are doing all the things, good or bad, but these examples are the bad examples. The examples of the bad people, say God is recording it. Because it's your Creator, He is creating it, He is aware of it, but according to your choice, He is creating it. You are free to choose, and He creates it. You can, for example, water a plant, it grows. You can cut a plant. You are free. You have the free will. So you come to your example. You can drive. You can drive on the right way or swerve on the land, rough land. You can do that. But of course, when you are driving on the land a bit first, you cannot reach the destination. You cannot feel comfortable. When you are on the right road, you are comfortable. You can reach your destination, the purpose of your existence. You can reach it. That's it. It's so simple to me. These are different examples. You don't have to go into details. Who were they? What they did? None of your business. They listen to the external factor, external devil, and follow them. externalize it, corrupted themselves. God says, okay, since you are corrupted, you will have no chance of living in happy life in this world, extension in the hereafter. But in this world, they have to take, these people have to take what? Sleeping pills, antidepressants. It is impossible not to live without them. All the people come from Iraq war. They question now, why did we go to Iraq? Why did we kill these people? Why did we put sanction on the baby? Formula, yeah. And they say 1 million babies die because of the lack of nourishment. $1 million child. What they do now, if you want to see the reality, go to Veterans Hospital. Go there. Who are they? They are all suffering from conscience, pain of conscience. They cannot forgive themselves. They realize that they are used as tool machines. Why did I do that? The same soldier, it's a very good lived example. Yeah, every one of you has experienced it. The same soldier, if he's here, an Iraqi person, child, man, woman, young, old, doesn't matter, fails and faints and fails. What do you think the same soldier who killed in Iraq under the name of war, what will this man do to this person who fainted? Help. What's happening, man? Your nature is pure, and your creator, they always, Raqib. The Quran uses this word Raqib. It means there is always a Raqib within you. Tells you what you are doing is wrong. And you know that I wouldn't kill him. I would help this man if he fails, not alone killing him. Definitely call 911 and help him, and if he needs this artificial aspiration of artificial, making the heart work, perfectly. Sorry, they call it artificial heart something. CPR. I don't know what it stands for. Whatever, it's not a CPR. Okay, let's call it CPR. He will do the CPR there, but under the pretext of war, he will kill the same man. And how do you think this man's conscience will be happy, will be comfortable? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to meet you. Thank you very much. Inna rabbaka labil mirsad, never leaves you alone. This is your honor. This is your Lord. Yep. The subject doesn't change. It's an extension of it. But after giving these examples, God seems to be talking about a completely different matter, but this is the extension of it to make ourselves, the reader, realize what is going on within himself rather than the previous tribes or communities or people, right? These are the examples historically known, but now come to yourself. When it comes to yourself, فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانِ إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ, it becomes personal now. Why do we do this? It is another psychological analysis of human beings. We'll continue, inshallah, from there. Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka. We are too late, man. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.